But it had worked. I was invisible. But not to Mrs. Smoot or Mr. Darrow. They knew me. They knew I cared about social justice and baseball and history, and so they invited me to do a History Day project. And although it was fun, it was also terrifying. I had to plan my entire project and track my own progress. I had to figure out what questions to ask and where to find the answer. I had to narrow down the topic to something I cared about. In this case, Jackie Robinson and the integration of baseball. I wrote letters to newspapers and made phone calls to former players. I remember picking up the phone, my hands trembling as I read aloud my pre-recorded script and waited for the stranger to respond. I eventually worked on a slide presentation. That's when the most nerve-wracking moment occurred. I sat in a radio studio and I heard the script that I had just recorded, and I hated it. I'm not doing it, I said. But Mrs. Smoot looked me in the eyes and said, when you hide your voice, you rob the world of your creativity. And so I continued. I went ahead and I shared it with my class. And then I entered the district competition and the state competition and eventually went to Washington, D.C. And although I didn't realize it at the time, Mrs. Smoot was why I became an educator. This project helped me grow into a creative thinker and problem solver. And that experience is why I ultimately embraced project-based learning as a teacher. Now, I want to point something out. Project-based learning is different from simply a traditional classroom project. Project-based learning involves learning through projects rather than doing culminating projects. It involves student choice in design instead of just following a set of instructions. It includes student inquiry rather than pre-planned questions. It includes peer and self-assessment rather than only relying on teacher assessment. And it includes student ownership of the process rather than just teacher ownership of the process. The Buck Institute identifies the following 7 project design elements. Number 1, challenging problem or question. It has to start with something that truly engages students to solve a problem. Number 2, sustained inquiry. They needed the time to ask questions and explore the answers and engage in meaningful research. Number 3, authentic. It has to feel real to the students and tie into an actual context. Number 4, student voice and choice. They need to be the ones designing the entire project the entire time. Number 5, reflection. There needs to be frequent reflection along with a final reflection at the end. Number 6, critique and revision. Students need to engage in peer critique and constant iterative revision. And number 7, public product. They need to launch their work to an authentic audience. Now note that project-based learning can work in tandem with other pedagogical models such as inquiry-based learning, design thinking, and problem-based learning. But the key idea remains the same, that students are engaged in meaningful projects, and through that, they learn at a deeper level.